Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session on healthcare workflow automation, insights from 2024 and predictions for 2025. I'm Julie, the Interim Director of Marketing at Medaptus, and your host for today's session. We're thrilled to have you join us. Today, we'll be diving into the key learnings from 2024 and exploring what's next for patient assignment and charge capture automation. I'm joined by two incredible experts from the Medaptus team who bring a wealth of knowledge and experience in both of these areas. First, we have Lisa Schwenker, Senior Product Manager specializing in charge workflow automation, and Jeff Cibotti, Senior Clinical Implementation Consultant with deep expertise in patient assignment and workflow optimization. Before we dive in, Lisa and Jeff, could you briefly introduce yourselves and share a little bit about your backgrounds?
My name is Lisa Schwenker. I am a Senior Project Manager here at Medaptus. I've been with the company for 10 years now, working on our implementation team, working with, both small customers at the practice level and, multi-facility health networks, across the country.
Hi, thanks everyone for joining. My name is Jeff Cibotti. I'm a Senior Solutions Consultant here at Medaptus. What that means, we really lead the assign solution from post-sales to, support handoff and everything in between. What we try to do besides implementation is really get to know our clients and help bridge the gap clinically of how they're going to use the software, what they're doing now, what trouble they're having, what kind of ROI they want to see, and then tracking key performance metrics with that client as well. So doing the full install, working with the client, getting to know them, and successfully launching them with our software are kind of all the hats that I wear. And I really enjoy the clinical aspect and working with our clients.
All right. So Lisa, let's start with you. Based on your experience last year, what were the most significant advancements or trends in charge workflow automation, and how have they impacted the healthcare organizations that you're working with?
So I would say over the past year, one of our biggest areas where automation has made the biggest difference is in charge infusion. Charge infusion has always been a product that we've offered, but over the last few years, we've been building it out to fully automate infusion coding, with one of the main goals being to reduce the burden on nurses and simplify what can be a really complicated process. What we can do is we can take interface messages that contain chemo, hydration, therapeutic medications, which also contain start and stop times that have been entered into the EMR. From there, Medaptus can populate billable codes in a compliant manner and send them into our billing system on the same day. So customers can let us know which types of scenarios they're interested in, and we can put those on hold. But with most of our customers, we can fully automate sending 90% of the charges through each day without needing it to be reviewed. And over the past year, there has been a real uptick in the amount of hospitals using this workflow, and it's made a really big difference.
Yeah, I can imagine that's pretty significant to have that many go through without having to have a person review it. So that's amazing. Thank you, Lisa. Jeff, over to you. What did you see as the biggest challenges for healthcare organizations in optimizing patient assignment workflows last year? And how did you see automation help address those challenges?
Yeah, sure. So the biggest challenge in patient assignments is really rule complexity and what clients are trying to accomplish before us and then with us. When we talk to clients who are interested in our software, there's some form of, this is too complex for us to do each morning. It's either taking us too long or we can't do what we want to keep our providers happy. If you think about sort of the hierarchy of what a human is trying to accomplish, they in a morning assignment process of doctors and patients, they want evenly balancing of workload to keep the doctors happy. They want some form of geography to make sure the providers are working in a cohorted space or seeing patients in the same area. And then they want continuity with their patients as well. The provider saw the patient yesterday. They should be seeing them again today. We don't want to break that. So then when a person's doing this manually, as you can imagine, their head's exploding, trying to do this all without a software tool or without automation. And oftentimes they just don't do it. They'll just go with one of the three of those options. So the thing with our software is, and what we tell them is, we hit all those metrics and we provide labor savings. So we're going to hopefully do the assignments faster each morning for you. We're going to keep geographic assignments. We're going to do workload balancing, and we're going to keep our providers happy. So that's really the benefit of the automation piece, is that we do all of this with a computer system and we take that human element away. And that's really where our clients have been the most happy.
Amazing. I can imagine it's a huge relief for them to get that type of automation in place and at the end of the day provide better care to the patients, which is ultimately what we're all trying to achieve here.
Exactly.
So I'm wondering if you could share a real world example of how automation improved charge capture efficiency or compliance for one of the medaptus customers last year.
Sure. This past year, we were able to take our charge capture product and use it in a new way with something that we're calling documentation reconciliation. One of our assigned customers was looking to improve their reconciliation process with their charges to identify any patients that are missing either documentation in the EMR or charges or both. So basically what we did is we set up an interface to read in documentation that was entered by the provider and an interface to read in charges that were put into their EMR and have that flag patients that we have built on a rounding list within Charge Pro. And then those rounding lists are getting created automatically from the Assign application. So we're able to import those in from Assign when the assignments are done in the morning. And then we're also able to add in any time where they are listed as attending, admitting, or consulting to those lists as well. And then this gives them a really easy tool that they can use quickly to identify where they're missing documentation, charges, and really streamline that reconciliation process. And then even, bring in that integration with Assign as well.
Oh, that's amazing. So being able to bring both of those solutions together sounds like it can accomplish even more efficiency than each of them on their own, which is really exciting. It sounds like a good opportunity for a lot of healthcare organizations to explore in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff, similarly, do you have an example of where workflow automation made a huge difference in patient assignment and care delivery for one of the customers?
Yeah, absolutely. In 2024, I would say not only our product line, almost as a company, Texas Health was one of our best success stories. We built a relationship over the course probably of the year with Texas Health through a few sales conferences, and they were really interested in our product. And one, we not only had to do some custom development work for them that worked out really well, but then they hit all of our metrics after they went live. We got their assignment process down from 4 hours to 45 minutes, which was amazing. We gave the list makers all that time back, which was great. So they could not only start their day later, they were finished earlier. And we achieved success with a couple pieces. One within Epic, which is huge, that we'll probably talk about in a little bit. Really integrating with that EHR is a big milestone for our company. We proved that we could do that, and we've done it a few times now. And we did it with a census of over 500, which is also awesome. It's proven that our software works no matter the size. In fact, we found more of an ROI with a client that big. So we checked off a lot of boxes, from development work to labor savings to our complex rules to working with a really large enterprise client. After that, we then rolled it out to other facilities as well, so they saw really success across the board with multiple enterprise sites.
Wow. And you mentioned the EHR integration, which is really, really important because, not just in healthcare, but across all industries, nobody wants another separate system, right? So the fact that you can bring it all together into the EHR seamlessly is a huge, huge win. So that's amazing. Thanks for sharing. Both of these examples highlight the positive impact of automation in healthcare organizations. Wondering if you could share a key lesson from 2024 that healthcare leaders should carry forward into this year. Lisa, we'll start with you.
Sure. This might sound like something really obvious, but I would say for Charge, it's always important to really go back and reevaluate your workflows and kind of overall process. Because, oftentimes regulations are changing, new rules are being put into place. And if you don't reevaluate what, your previous settings or workflows are, then you might miss out on being able to, better and more efficiently, do your process. Also, there may be new functionality that gets added into medaptus that can be utilized as well. Like earlier, I talked about the documentation integration for one of our customers. And that's how it came to be implemented. We had a conversation with them and we found an area that was a pain point. And we were able to put, something new and build new interfaces and put those in place. And it's, really working out well for them. And, we never would have known that had we not had the conversation and talked about, their workflow a little bit more in detail. So, and I think going hand in hand with that is just asking questions. If you have a workflow that's not working for you and it's a problem area in your current process, it never hurts to bring it to our attention. We can talk about it and, we can see if there's a way to improve it.
Yeah, it's always good to start the year with an evaluation of what's working and what's not working and, take steps to fix some of those things that might not be working so well or serving your organization. Jeff, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, we've thought about this a lot as a company of how we can scale our software, expand across enterprise accounts. And, what we've come up with is we do like the land and expand approach with Assign. So what we try to do is if we have an enterprise account that has multiple hospitals, we try to target the most troublesome one, meaning who's having the most trouble. Most likely it's going to be your largest facility. So we target them, and after that is successful, then we'll branch out to the others or build relationships with the other enterprise sites along the way. That's worked best as our business model, and we find it works best from the hospital as well.
So start with the biggest challenge, because if you can accomplish that and solve those and automate those workflows, then the others should be a piece of cake.
Yep, the implementations usually are faster as well. You get that first one up and running. You have the relationship with IT. The interfaces are up, and you can usually roll those out faster as well, keeping everyone happy.
Yeah, makes sense. And the results are most significant when you target that first one right out of the gate. So that makes a lot of sense. That's a good segue into looking ahead at 2025. So Jeff, I wanted to ask you, what do you see as the most promising advancements in patient assignment workflows this year?
Yeah, I think it's really industry as a whole where these advancements are going. Like I always think like data and AI are huge. We can't avoid that. That's coming down the tracks. So, we know as a company that it's coming, and we're going to embrace it in a safe way, especially with PHI. Being involved, but I really feel as though like integration and interoperability between vendors and hospitals is going to get better as well. There's still a lot of IT roadblocks that we face when trying to implement a site. It's sometimes a deterrent in a sale too. IT doesn't have time for this, or they can't get certain data pieces across. The data's out there. There's new interfaces like Fire and API that are being developed. And I think the handshake between vendors and EHRs and sites is just going to get easier and easier. It should almost be plug and play. We're just not there yet just because of red tape involved in healthcare. But other industries have that, whether it's, a database, an API that you can just tap into, or Fire that you can easily hook up to and get that data instantly. That's the path that I think healthcare is going. Just like other industries, though, it takes longer in healthcare. But once we get that, we're going to have more robust data, quicker data to access, and then we can do so much more with it. Clinical decision-making, faster implementations, all of that will happen. It's just a matter of time. So we'll get there.
But it's good to see that it's starting, right? So maybe picking up pace in 2025. So that's a positive sign for the industry.
Absolutely.
All right. Over to you, Lisa. How do you see charge workflow automation evolving this year?
So I think, one of the things that we've always worked towards is really streamlining, the process of getting the charge out the door as quickly and efficiently and accurately as possible. That's what we've always strived to do in Charge Pro. And we're always looking for ways to improve that process. And I, keep going back to this documentation integration feature, but we've really been able to do a lot with it last year and looking to continue that progress into 2025. With the functionality of it, it really, adds a new layer to the efficiency of reviewing charges in Charge Pro. It gives you the option to do a side-by-side of the codes that we've got on the charge with the documentation straight from the EMR. and really makes that process so much easier. Giving the coders the ability to just get everything in one place. They don't need to log in and look up every patient individually in their EMR. It's all in one spot. And I think, that's something that we're kind of carrying forward into 2025 is, again, just making everything kind of as simplistic and streamlined and efficient as possible. With the, kind of the whole process from start to finish in Charge.
All right, so let's keep going through. So Lisa, you mentioned that regulatory changes often impact charge capture workflows. Are there any anticipated changes that you're aware of in 2025 that healthcare organizations should prepare for? And how can automation help them stay ahead of this?
Sure. Every January 1st, there's new CPT codes that get released. We've got the CPTs on January 1st and then the diagnosis codes on October 1st. And we load them into medaptus. And there are several guidelines that are, changing for 2025. There's a lot of different ones, but one that I thought maybe would be good to highlight is some of the new telehealth codes that are coming in for E&M services. Since 2020, we have really seen a lot of changes to the rules around telehealth visit billing. They've changed several times over the years. And with these new codes, it will change how telehealth audio-only visits are billed. With CMS codes, when CMS codes change, it's always important to review the new guidelines, determine what adjustments need to be made for your organization. And we do have a tool in medaptus that does help with those coding changes for the providers and the coders on their, kind of shortcut code templates they have built right into Charge Pro in medaptus. We call it a code management tool. And it's where they can just plug in codes that either need to be mass removed, they can be replaced with a series of codes. So that way we can automate that. Some of our customers have like hundreds of different coding templates, and this way they don't have to individually go through them. The system will identify anything that's expired, so that will be automatically there for them. And they can just choose how they want to adjust those on the templates. And then, like I said, we can also replace them with a code. So, going back to those telehealth codes, there's like 17 new audio-only telehealth codes that, an organization might be looking to add. This way they can kind of add them to one of the pre-existing templates without needing to do a lot of work to do it.
It sounds like it would be a pretty daunting task to do manually. And also, at risk of having them be incorrect or having errors in that. In the codes. So it's great that medaptus can help with automating that and keeping organizations ahead of the curve when it comes to these new codes that come out every year. All right, thanks, Lisa. So finally, I have one question remaining for both of you. If you could describe the ideal state of healthcare workflow automation for your respective area this year, what would it look like? Jeff, let's go over to you for this one.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity to kind of close the loop on where we started with the integration with Epic. And what we found is their market share is growing compared to all the other EHRs. They've almost taken over as the vendor of choice for a lot of hospitals. And I think it was really important that we have shown that we can integrate with them and we can integrate with them successfully. So we kind of had to wait till the dust settled for all these sales happened with Epic too. When that comes, it's really a big price tag and really a big implementation. And oftentimes hospitals are nervous now about adding on another third-party vendor. But what we found is there's still a gap in the patient assignment process and we're still valuable there. So we almost have just wait it out as it happens. Wait till kind of the budget and the IT part settles down. And then we still have a home with an Epic that we can integrate with, and then we can add a lot of value. So we know that our product has longevity. It's just a matter of getting into those shops, those Epic shops, and being successful.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like the ideal state is that the healthcare organizations using Epic realize that there's a gap in the patient assignment workflow piece of it, and that medaptus is the right solution to integrate into it seamlessly in order to automate that process for them and help them be a lot more efficient and deliver better care. Yeah. Lisa, could you describe the ideal state of healthcare workflow automation for Charge in 2025?
For Charge, our goal has always been to make the system as streamlined as possible, whether that be for the provider, coder, support staff, super users. We see that in functionality that we've used over the years, like our EMR link to make things, one click from their EMR. or different, custom rules that we set up to automate how charges are getting flagged or put into the system. So that's something that we've really always worked towards. And, kind of moving into 2025, we're always looking for ways to make the user experience as seamless as possible. Like I keep bringing up this documentation integration that I mentioned earlier, things like, dashboard reporting, so that way they can have, make the most of their reporting system and, put their most needed data in one place. There is so much that can be customized in medaptus, and that's something that we've always really prided ourselves on. We're, always ready to sit down, talk to customers to see, are there new interfaces that we can build to streamline processes? Are there new reports that we can put in place, anything to kind of improve the overall workflow.
In terms of charge, it sounds like the ideal state is for healthcare organizations to, one, be able to capture missed revenue or capture more revenue, but also do it in a way that is like super easy and very streamlined for the coders who are working in the system every single day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much to both of you for speaking with me today. I did learn a lot from our conversation, and I hope that the viewers who are watching this are also taking away some really good information and ideas in order to help their healthcare organization become more efficient and more effective throughout this year and beyond. So thank you again, Lisa and Jeff, for joining me today. I really appreciate your thoughts and insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.